Hi, it's the guy who hasn't made a video in over a month, but I've made one now. I asked you peeps what you wanted to see next, and most of you wanted to see me redo the nuclear plant. And I agree. It sucks, so let's redo it bigger and better. First, we need to remove this. So with the old factory out of the way, we can go ahead and start building the new factory. I've drew up some blueprints for the new nuclear plant, so I know what I'm building, and I've also gone ahead and made a flow chart for the nuclear plant, so I know exactly how much of everything I'm going to need and how many buildings I'm going to need. And it's a lot of buildings. Right, so I have now built up the first of the different sections for the plant. This is the building that will be controlling all of the resources that come in, or at least most of the resources that come in, because some of it will come from other places. I've got lots of space inside, probably enough drone ports to bring in the materials, and a little bit of space to set up a train station or two for other stuff. A little while later, and I now built the main building for the nuclear power plant. I now have a lot of space to build up the control room for the entire world. And when I say entire world, I mean the entire world. When it comes to the inside of the factory, there's probably plenty of space to build a factory, so I don't think I'll need to worry about space while I'm building the actual factory part. I forgot some details. Nothing happened. So nuclear reactors, they produce nuclear waste, and we need to deal with that nuclear waste. So look at this. Magically, a building appeared. A nuclear waste processing plant. This bad boy is going to be responsible for turning that beautiful, delicious nuclear waste into plutonium. And that plutonium is going to go into these reactors, which in an emergency will be able to power my nuclear plant so that the world doesn't commit suicide. Plutonium in a nuclear reactor makes plutonium waste, and plutonium waste you can't get rid of. Because you can't get rid of it, I will only use these reactors in an emergency, such as a nuclear meltdown. Now, how the power grid is going to be done is a whole thing, so buckle up. So the nuclear plant will have its own power grid, meaning all of the drones and trains and miners and such that are essential to the plant running will be connected to it. The rest of the world will have its own power grid as well. All of the factories inside that power grid will be controllable separately. That way I can turn off select factories rather than them all. If there is an emergency, I could turn off the world. Seeing as it's its own power grid, the nuclear plant won't be affected by this. Power goes to the nuclear plant first and the rest of the world after, as without the power plant, the world wouldn't work. Inside the nuclear power grid, the reactors, the factory, the processing plant, the plutonium reactors, the transport systems, all that stuff will be controllable separately. In the event we have a nuclear meltdown, such as nuclear waste backing up and everything shuts down, we can turn off the nuclear power grid and the world power grid. Then we can turn on the backup power systems, aka the plutonium reactors, to produce enough power for the waste factory to process the uranium waste and clear the plant, enough to turn the nuclear reactors and the main plant back on. After everything has leveled out, we can then direct power back to the world. Hope you got all of that.
What?
91 constructors later, I now have the quick wire set up and ready to go. Thank God for blueprints. This would have taken way longer if I had to do every building individually. A solid 7 hours of building later, quite the big jump, I now have all of the buildings and such I need for the high-speed connectors to be produced. Another hour or so later, and everything is set to its respected colors. So light green for high-speed connectors, very light yellow color for quick wire, black for cables, and so on. These are all of our assemblers that will be making us our stators, and these are the assemblers needed to make the electromagnetic control rods. This is a visual indicator so I can make sure that the essential items to the plant running are moving as they should be. This is where the power for the uranium waste processing plant will be controlled, so all of the essential stuff and main power switches and stuff for that plant will be controllable from this little plateau area. Then we have this space for all of the controls for the world. These are just a few small systems that are needed for the plant to run smoothly. These blenders you see here produce 500 encased uranium cells per minute for the uranium control rods. These are sulfuric acid refineries that produce the sulfuric acid for the blenders. And this is where we finally make 10 uranium control rods per minute. This main belt system here brings all of the main materials up into the control room for me to be able to view from that little conveyor belt spot, and then sends it back to their respected areas. This bridge is essential to bringing uranium waste to the processing plant, along with bringing plutonium items to the control room to be viewed and then sent in the back. Now, we need 12,000 water per minute for the reactors to actually function. Here is all of the extractors I need to pump 12,000 water per minute. I changed up my plans a little bit and decided to build a head lift tower. The tower here makes sure that the head lift is always full. This platform is where all of the nuclear reactors will actually be set. Except you can see I have a little bit of a problem and I'm gonna need to do a little redesigning here because the water tower kind of cuts into my space a little bit. Sorry for the lack of videos. Things where I live have not been very good. There have been a lot of fires in Canada and they have really been affecting me and my family, and so thank you guys all for your support. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me and it helps keep me motivated to keep making these videos for you guys even though they take a long time to make. I prefer quality over quantity. I'd rather make a small number of high quality videos rather than make a large number of low quality videos. I'm always trying to improve my editing skills and make my videos better. I try to strive for a better video than the last, and I hope this one's better than the last. It's shorter than the last one, that's for sure. But there's good reason for it being shorter. It's just simply computer limitations. I don't have the greatest computer in the world. I don't have a lot of storage space, and if I was to record everything I did in this video, like down to like placing conveyor belts and explaining it, I would never have enough storage space for that kind of stuff, which is a bummer, and I feel bad for not having all of that in the video, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm glad you guys are sticking with me through all of this, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.